Good morning. This is Grassroots Rising. I'm your host, Jimmy Skogard. I'm here with
Gina Conrad Cohn
and
Douglas Cohn.
All right, guys. We got 3 to 5 minutes, and we're going to solve some issues here in Wyoming. Or we could go to the state, or we could even go to the federal government. What do you guys think?
State level seems
okay.
a little more doable.
We're gonna solve some issues at the state level. What are we looking at? We were talking earlier.
Well, what about lawfare? The fact that duly elected legislators go to the legislature and pass some bills at the behest of their people, their citizenry, and then the judiciary just turns it right over.
Oh, so we're repealing legislation that we passed.
Basically legislating from the bench.
Okay, so we've got a judicial that's maybe a little bit out of hand. What is the judicial? Let's pull out an example. Let's pick one out. Come on, let's say it.
Go ahead. You know, you got a good one.
I mean, I wouldn't think that I could speak fairly about any single piece of legislation. Krista would. But for example, the recent abortion, the overturning the 6-week deal, or was it the injunction out of Natrona County where Judge Fogarty stepped in and said, no, we're not going to do this because we already said no. Is that let's talk about the solution to this, okay? If all right, so you heard me earlier probably say that I took a position on where I support and defend the Constitution, and that includes standing behind the judicial. And why do I say that? Because if we let the rule of law, if we let the guardrails of the Constitution slide and the rule of law, where do we stop? And that's why I say we have to have that. And so if the judge rules, then it's my as your representative to stand behind that. And how do we change? If we really want change, we actually have to change the Constitution.
Well, what gives the judicial the authority to overrule a piece of legislation that the full legislature passed? I mean, where's their oversight on that?
This has been a question of the will of the majority versus the rights of the minority. This is part of our system of government, and so the judicial is there to protect the rights of that minority. And that's part of our system of government. And if we let that slide, then we risk losing part of a very important piece of our government. This is my belief. Now, you guys have a very, very valid point, because it does seem like the judicial is overriding the will of the people, and so the people need to come together. This is why I was talking about division earlier. I want us to come together so when we have an issue that's dividing us, like the current abortion, I don't know. It's not. Is it even a debate right now? I don't think it's a debate.
I don't think it's a debate for the most part in our state. Most people, even statistically speaking, depending on what point of life you're talking about, most people, if you get to late-term abortions in our state, even in our country, are against that form of abortion. So it's kind of like a spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay. And so this is going to be it's an interesting conversation, because this is a conversation that Wyoming needs to have. We need to have it with as many folks as we can, like we're doing right here, face to face, eye to eye, with civility. Because if we can't do that, how do we solve it?
No, it has to be done in a mutually respectable way, or nothing's going to get accomplished. But I just want to go back to a comment you said that the judicial is making decisions based on the will of the people. Is that really the will of the people here in Wyoming, to go along with their version of ruling? I mean, if you took a poll, I mean, ridiculously, but you took a poll, would they support the law of the legislature, or would they agree with the judicial to overthrow it?
Now you bring up something that's close and dear to my heart. It's Doug is talking about data, and now I'm a data guy.
Yeah, as I am.
And so I've created surveys on this very issue, and I've used the state, the voter registration file that I got from the Secretary of State. So I link your voice within your House district and your Senate district so that you can you can share your voice with your representative and your senator, your state senator. So your senator knows how his district feels. So you aggregate your voice. Gina and Doug aggregate their voice, and then their neighbors aggregate their voice, and all of a sudden you see this overwhelming support for the position that you want. You can take a look at my surveys. This is the abortion survey at this page at CivTech.
Okay.
Go ahead and take a look at that and say, hey, this is a new concept, really. And I'm like, why aren't we doing it? I got into this because I wrote a letter to Senator Loomis, and I got back a pile of garbage. And I'm like, if you're going to send me a pile of garbage, I want to know what my neighbors think about this. And there's no way for you to know. You send out the email, it goes to Senator Loomis, right? And somebody else sends one. You have no idea what's going on. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's create a system that's based upon. Oh, and when you sign up for this survey site, you have to do it at your home that you recorded it, because I'm going to ask you to verify your location.
Okay.
And if you're at your home within a certain number of feet, it'll say, you're a verified Wyoming voter. And I'm like, we can use technology. It's not perfect. And I need feedback. That's why I need, especially if you're a data guy. So you can say, hey, Jimmy, this doesn't make any sense, or whatever. And I like to make it better. I'd like to,
sure.
The idea is eventually to get it to the state, so I don't have to deal with it. But I want to keep the code open source. I think that's what it's called. So everybody can review the code and say, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm not collecting people's information. I already have your information. I don't need to collect it. But I do want to use your information to verify that you're on I got the August 25th, 2025 voter file. So I don't have the most current one. And there'll be some gaps as time passes. But I'm like, this is just a proof of concept. Yeah. And so we can say that, this could actually work.
That's fascinating. This data collection is very expensive and hard to scientifically validate. So this sounds like a good, interesting option.
Yeah, I got this idea from Julie Jarvis, a House rep in Casper. She sends out handwritten ballots to her constituency. She spends about $6,000 sending out 22 pages and then they hand fill them out. And the people that mostly fill them out are the older folks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I want to reach the younger folks too.
You got to automate.
And so I'm like, let's do this online. It's like, okay, so there's going to be some security challenges, all kinds of things. But let's just validate the concept first. Instead of looking for the problems with it, let's find out why this could work. And then we can fix all the security issues.
Oh, that's very fascinating.
Interesting.
Anyway,
cool.
I appreciate the opportunity to share that with you guys. And just having the podcast interview, that brings out these things, and it empowers your voice too, because if you're concerned about abortion and we want to find the solution to that, then we have to work together.
Absolutely.
And we have to reach out and find the solution that works for most of us. Probably not going to work for all of us.
Of course not.
But we can put it behind us if we can find that solution. And I think it requires a constitutional amendment at this point.
Sounds like that's the direction it needs to go.
Yeah, or a citizen initiative or something like that. I don't know what all these saying. I'm kind of new to this politics stuff.
Well, we do.
So why not start at the top, right?
Yeah.
Any final comments, guys?
Well, I just plan to look at your website and check out your tool and see what that's all about.
And we do have a pretty firecracker pro-life person on our staff that she is really, really good.
She knows the facts off the top of her head way better than
So, she could review the survey, the abortion survey. That I posted.
That would be fantastic.
Because, I have no problem modifying these surveys,
You have my email address, so send me the stuff. I'm Gina. I'm the one that's been emailing you about coming to this event. So we're connected.
Gina, you're the one that's been saying, hey, get your butt over here, huh?
Yeah, she's the one that's been nagging you.
Exactly.
It takes a while. I'm one of those type of men. It just takes a while for us to catch on.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I wasn't listening.
That's it.
All right. I'd like to thank everybody for listening today, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.